Excellency Senator Dr. Ibrahim, our Royal Father, His Royal Highness the Emir of Bade, and also the Vice Chairman of the Council of Sheikh and Emirs, Alhaji Abubakar Umar Sulaiman, the Chairman of the today's Convocation Lecturer, His Excellency Bukar Goni Haji CFR, the former head of our service, and also the Pro-Chancellor of the African Aviation University. Former ministers here present, the Pro-Chancellor of Federal University of Gashua, and members of the council here with him, the Vice Chancellor of Federal University of Gashua, and our host, also Hajia Professor Maimuna Waziri, the Iron Lady, other Vice Chancellors here present, the Vice Chancellor of Federal University, Lafia, Yobe State University, the representatives of CEOs of other institutions, provost rectors, members of the State Assembly here present, particularly the Deputy Speaker and others. Permit me to recognize my two teachers, starting with Professor Awalu Mansur Bindawa. I came to Gashua along with him from Bayero University, Kano, and also my physics teacher and the former Vice Chancellor of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Professor Muhammad Ahmed Abdul Aziz, who is here with us. He taught me physics 202 in my 200 level. He is here with us. I could recall that during his examination I was sick, so I wrote that examination on my hospital bed, and he will bear witness that I passed the examination with a very good result. Thank you, my teacher. Professors of the university here present, other academics, non-academic staff, respected personalities here present, principal officers of the university here with us, the university orator, J.I. Alao. Thank you for overblowing my trumpet. Ladies and gentlemen, all other protocols duly and respectfully observed. Good evening to all of you, and may Allah's peace, mercy and blessings be upon you all. I begin by appreciating the University Governing Council, Senate and others for inviting me to be here with you on this campus to serve as the Convocation Lecturer on a very important theme, Beyond the Horizon, Embracing the Unknown and Unlocking Our Full Potential. In an attempt to discuss this very important topic, I intend to follow a 7-step algorithm which is going to be discussed through divide and conquer approach. Number 1, introduction. Number 2, why the topic is essential. Number 3, the dynamic nature of the global labor market. Number 4, those who excel outside their area of specialization. Number 5, the skills and qualities we need to acquire in order to be successful. Number 6, the way out. Number 7, conclusion. Introduction. I begin by commending the effort of the University Governing Council and also the University Vice Chancellor, the Ayo Lady Professor Maimuna Waziri, for the unprecedented achievements attained by this institution. I read her press briefing yesterday on my way to Kano before proceeding to Gashua. I was highly excited with the achievements of the university, and I am also glad that we converge here to celebrate the graduates from this university as the maiden edition of the convocation ceremony. The Vice Chancellor informed me a few minutes ago that in this event, today and tomorrow, we are going to celebrate 3,499 graduates who graduated from this very important institution. Professor Maimuna Waziri, we are very proud of you. We pray to the Almighty to take you to greater heights after completing your tenure successfully by next year. And I also use the opportunity to congratulate the President of the 9th Senate for the role he played in establishing this very important university. Not only establishing the university, but supporting the university day in, day out. As the DG of NIDA, he reached out to me, requested me to establish an ICT center on this campus. I was with him throughout the period, working on establishing that center without any complaint from him. But as an elderly, after the completion, he called me on phone and appreciated NIDA for establishing the center, and he said, however, you said the center was going to be a world-class center, while this center you have established could be an African center. So I need another one, an upgraded version of that, so that it will be the world-class center. Out of respect for him, I proposed that in our budget, and he was the President of the Senate at that time, and he made sure the budget was approved with another world-class center for the university. And immediately we established the center. Before getting the report from the consultants and contractors, he personally sent me the images of that center from this university. As the President of the Senate, he had time to monitor the activities and the development taking place on this very important campus. In order to continue to be the friend of the university, even after that request, we also approved the provision of another unlimited internet for the university. Few minutes to our arrival here to this hall, when I look into the available networks, I discovered that that network was still very active, and I'm grateful for that. The 9th President of the Senate, we are also proud of you, and we pray to the Almighty to continue to take you to greater heights. And the same with our Royal Father, the Emir of Bade, for creating time out of no time to be with us. He arrived on this campus before the arrival of many of the students and the lecturers. This is indeed a commitment. Your Royal Highness, we are proud of you, and we pray to the Almighty to continue to guide and guide you. Coming back to the topic, after this introduction, this takes me to the second stage of our discussion. Why the topic? Beyond the horizon, embracing the unknown and unlocking your full potential. This topic is very essential, particularly if you look at the dynamic nature of our global labor market. In addition to that, if you look at the challenges of unemployment on one hand and unemployability on the other, if you look at the total number of our graduates day in, day out, from universities, colleges of education, polytechnics, and other higher institutions of learning, you will agree with me that we are producing more than what the labor market requires. And this compels us to think out of the box on how to address the challenge of unemployment on one hand, where our graduates could not find any job, and also the challenge of the unemployability, where some graduates, when they are employed, do not have the skills required to do the work effectively, where you need to train and retrain them before they do the work that they are employed to execute. It is important that as academics, we must always think out of the box in order to provide solutions to the problems being confronted with, either on campuses or in our states or in Nigeria or in Africa or globally. And this is why the topic is important. If you look at beyond the horizon, the first part of the topic is about thinking outside our territories, thinking outside our boundaries. We must agree that there are more opportunities outside Gashua than the opportunities within. And there are more opportunities outside Yobe State, far higher than the opportunities we have in Yobe State. And there are more and more opportunities in Nigeria, more than the opportunities we have in our northern states. And there are more opportunities in Africa, more than the opportunities that exist in Nigeria. In addition, there are opportunities outside Africa more than the opportunities that exist within Africa. So we must partake in thinking beyond the horizon to the extent that we should not narrow the scope of searching for our jobs. We must try to expand the scope and think outside our comfort zone. Most of our young graduates, particularly from northern Nigeria, it is absolutely difficult for some of them to leave their states to even southern part of the country. Some find it difficult to live in Lagos, Ondo, Ogun, Imo, Abia, Rivers, Delta, and other parts of the country. They feel that nothing exists except in northern Nigeria. Any life outside northern Nigeria is not part of their dictionary. This is indeed a very wrong imagination. When you think ahead, you will discover there are many more opportunities being counted in millions outside Africa than even the opportunities that are in Africa. Recently, according to the World Economic Forum report, that the exploding of artificial intelligence alone has created more than 83 million new jobs globally. And these jobs do exist outside our continent. Very few of them are within our continent. So it is important for our younger ones to realize that it is undoubtedly necessary to think beyond the horizon, where we can grasp any opportunity that comes up, either within our country or outside our country, either within our continent or outside our continent. As earlier been recited by the orator of the university, I worked as an academic in Nigeria before leaving the country for the UK. From the UK, I was in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia before I was directed by the then President Muhammad Buhari, GCFR. May the Almighty Allah grant him a speedy recovery. Directed me to come back to Nigeria. So we lived in Nigeria, we lived in Europe, we lived in Asia, that is the Middle East, before being directed to return to Nigeria. This is part and parcel of beyond the horizon. And it is important to make sure that any opportunity that comes up we can easily utilize it, either in our local communities or outside our local communities. The second part of the topic is embracing the unknown. Embracing the unknown is all about the uncertainties of the future. Our future is highly unpredictable. If you look at Industry 4.1, Industry 1.0, Industry 2.0, Industry 3.0, Industry 4.0, and even the Industry 5.0 that is about to emerge, you will discover that there is no industrial revolution that is exploding beyond human imagination like the fourth industrial revolution and the fifth industrial revolution that we are about to commence. The future is uncertain. It is uncertain. The development of artificial intelligence alone within 24 hours is beyond our imagination. The inventions taking place in AI, in IoT, in blockchain technology, in cybersecurity, in quantum computing, in cloud computing, in nanotechnology, in biotechnology, you will strongly agree with me that the future is uncertain. Because what we are witnessing today, 20 years ago, nobody predicted. But today, we are witnessing the emergence of artificial intelligence to the extent that so many global leaders admit that it could be the most important invention of a human being throughout human history. And this is indeed a very important. So it is necessary to embrace the unknown, because there is no way we can live in isolation. We are part and parcel of the physical world, part and parcel of the biological world, and undoubtedly we are part and parcel of the virtual world. We have our universe on one hand, and we have another digital verse or metaverse on the other. To the extent that today we have different worlds that coexist. You have the physical world, the biological world, and we still have another world, the virtual world. To the extent that sometimes we know what is happening online more than what is happening in our neighborhood, in our communities, because we are so much addicted to that virtual world, and there is no way we can live in isolation. We must be part and parcel of it. And if living as part and parcel becomes necessary, then it is undoubtedly important that we must make sure that we embrace it, we learn it, and we become part and parcel of it, and make sure that we make use of it positively, not negatively. Why positively, not negatively? It is because of the fact that the technological advancement we are witnessing today is a double-edged sword. It could be used for good and for bad. It could be used positively and also negatively. It is a double-edged sword. And unfortunately, people that are using it negatively are much higher and more addicted to it than those who deploy it positively. And this is another reason why embracing the unknown is essential, so that we can be proactive and make sure that technology doesn't control us, but rather we control technology and we deploy technology for humanity, not against the humanity. And the third part of the topic is unlocking our full potential. This is all about discovery of our talent, partaking in self-improvement, make sure that we are growing in our mindset, and making sure that there is no limit to what we can achieve in life, either educationally or economically or socially or in any way possible. There is no limit to what you can achieve. So it is because of this that the theme of this convocation lecture is very apt and is important to our graduates and also to our students and also to those with experience, because we are part and parcel of the industry 4.0, and in the next few years we will be part and parcel of the industry 5.0. This takes me to the next stage of our discussion about human brains and also its capacity to adopt and accommodate the challenges that come up from time to time. It is important to realize that even though human brain is finite, but practically it is limitless. Technically and scientifically it is finite, but practically there is no way you can exhaust what you can achieve in life by using your brain and your heart. There is no limit to what you can achieve. And you can also become multidisciplinary, because the dynamic nature of our global labor market requires you to become more of a multidisciplinary scholar rather than just a single-edged scholar, because there are opportunities all over the world, and if you remain with just one expertise, in some situations you will continue to struggle in order to survive. And you will discover that even within your expertise, there are new inventions that you must try to acquire so that you can become up to date. Take for example the human brain. Human brain could allow you to become an expert in more than 20 areas in your life. Some in business, some in technical skills, some in agriculture, some in academia, some in civil service, either in public service, some in international relations. It is important to agree that it is possible to excel and become a multidisciplinary scholar, so that if your service is not required in this field, it is required in another field. And if this environment is not conducive for you, you have another expertise that you can live in another environment, even if what you do in this environment is not what is required in a new environment. And this is indeed very important. There is no limit to what we can achieve. And you will discover that we underutilize our brains and our hearts. A research conducted in 2010 by the Scientific American Journal, they discovered that the capacity storage of a human brain is up to 2.5 petabytes. Simply, the storage capacity of a human brain is up to 2.5 million gigabytes. I believe we know the exponential growth of data, where you have 8 bits give you 1 byte. When you have 1,000 of bytes, you have 1 kilobyte. Approximately 100 kilobytes can give you 1 megabyte. Okay, 1,000 megabytes approximately can give you 1 gigabyte. Okay, 1,000 gigabytes approximately can give you 1 terabyte. Then 1,000 terabytes approximately can give you 1 petabyte, meaning 1 with 15 zeros. So, in summary, this is human brain storage, up to 2.5 million gigabytes. If you can, let me give another example with our religious book. If you can memorize the entire Quran, the glorious Quran, or you can memorize by heart the entire Holy Bible. The maximum capacity depends on the format and the form of storage. But if you take either of them, it's between 1 megabyte to 5 megabyte maximum. 1 to 5. By implication, human brain can memorize and keep by heart the glorious Quran up to 512 times, or the Holy Bible up to 512 times. Human brain, according to that scientific American journal of 2010, that human brain can accommodate what can be recorded in a television for up to 3 million hours. 3 million hours non-stop on a television with HD. 3 million hours can be kept in a human brain. Furthermore, to simplify it more, this 3 million hours is up to 125,000 days. And if you want to compute maybe in years, could be up to 342 years. Meaning human brain can keep a record that can be played on a television consistently non-stop for 342 years. This is to show to us that we significantly underutilize what we can achieve with our brains. Then the dynamic nature of the global labor market. The global labor market comes up with so many unpredictable challenges, to the extent that some of the skills that are required today in our labor markets globally were not academically documented 15 years ago. At all, they were not even documented. Why? Because new inventions are coming up with new challenges, and we need new skills in order to adopt and adapt to this invention and technological adoption, as the case may be. If you look at the report of the World Economic Forum of 2022 about the future of jobs, in that report, the World Economic Forum, which is the most influential economic forum globally, that the skills we need today to excel globally because of the dynamic nature of our workforce were not in existence formally just 15 years ago. And this is why, even as a student after your graduation, or as a colleague, as a lecturer, it is no more possible for you to be static. Since the global labor market is dynamic, then we must adjust and become dynamic to the nature of the global labor market. Formally, our certificates do not expire. When you acquire a degree from Federal University Gashua, it will never expire in a normal situation. However, the university has power to revoke. But that power is conditional. It's only conditional. Are you following? But in a normal situation, your degree remains valid. But today, because of the dynamic nature of the global labor market, our certificates, if care is not taken, they could become invalid, but not formal, but informal. Because you will reach a situation that in your area of expertise, when experts are discussing about emerging technologies and the development in the area, if you are not upskilling your skills and your knowledge, you will discover that what you have at your disposal is outdated. Because these emerging technologies or disrupted technologies are into each and every profession. They are not restricted to only computer science, but rather they are applicable to each and every profession. They are applicable to biology, physics, chemistry, applicable to medicine, applicable to law, accounting, business administration. They are applicable into history. So if you look at it into each and every sector, these emerging technologies become the key enablers. They are the key enablers of other sectors. And this is why it is important to look into the dynamic nature of the labor market and make sure that we partake in three things as the need arises. Number one, upskilling. Number two, reskilling. And number three, crosskilling. These three things are essential in Industry 4.0. What is upskilling? Upskilling is all about integrating and advancing the advancement being witnessed in your area of expertise. Make sure that you are up to date. Are you following? Upskilling is all about making sure that you are up to date in your area of specialization or expertise. And this is a challenge to our graduates. Most of them, when they graduate, they feel that is the end of their studies. And you will discover that in some situations, they are celebrated because this is the end of their studies. While in real sense, it should be the beginning, not the end. Because after your graduation, you need to keep in touch with the recent advancement in your area of specialization or the course you study in university. The way and manner we used to conduct research is no more the same. During our undergraduate, internet was not available. It was only in some few places that you discover using telephone services. Students used to go to the university library to borrow their textbook and read. And sometimes you can even arrange when it is an important textbook. After 1 week, my time expires, I will return it and you will go and take it immediately. This is the way we used to even maintain some books to read. But today, mostly, the information is available online. Writing thesis, we were using even pen to write our thesis. At the end, you borrow a computer and type. Sometimes you even go to a business center. But today, our smartphones are computers. Research is being conducted today with the support of AI, and lecturers are finding it difficult sometimes to differentiate what students do independently and what they do using even artificial intelligence. It is another challenge. As a lecturer, you cannot just remain offline. You must be online the way our youth and students are addicted to online. Otherwise, it is even difficult to assess their examination effectively. So it is important to partake in upskilling. An example of upskilling, for example, as a graduate of computer science, when you graduate, there are new programming languages that are emerging. So you have to continue to learn and excel. As a graduate of software engineering, you have to continue to learn new programming languages. When you graduate in networking, new technological advancements are coming up. You have to keep in touch with them. Otherwise, a time will come where what you acquire is no more relevant. And that is why I always say it is important to always look into our curricula and make sure that we are updating them from time to time. During our undergraduate, we were learning basic, COBOL, MATLAB, Fortran, Pascal. It was towards the end of our academic time, then like new languages like Java programming languages, and C++ was updated to C++. But today, if you look at even the invention and the advancement within these programming languages, you will agree with me that it's mind-boggling, and there is no time to sleep. If you sleep and wake up, you will discover that your peers are by far ahead of you. So whether in academia or outside academia, we must continue to be students willing to learn. And it is indeed important that you keep in touch with the advancement in your area of study or area of expertise, as the case may be. Then number 2 is about reskilling. Reskilling is a situation where after graduation you discover that there is no demand of your course. Your area of study is not in demand. It is important to remind yourself that life is not only one lane. If this fails to give you what you need, you have to switch to another, even through teaching yourself and partaking in certification where you can add more and become more relevant. Some courses being studied in our universities in Africa, I'm sorry to say, they are not in demand globally. Some courses we are being advised to even reduce the total number of students we enroll, and in some we have to narrow them only to our first generation universities. There are some courses today we don't need to have them in our second, third or fourth generation universities. Maybe we can only retain them in like Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, like Ile Obafemi Awolowo University in Ife, also University of Nigeria in Suka. These are the first generation universities, for example. Like University of Ibadan, these are the first generation. Some courses, I'm not advocating to scrap any course. Even for the sake of knowledge, each and every course must be retained. But we must reduce the number of universities that offer the courses and the total number of students that are being enrolled into these courses. Because we have to look at the opportunities in the labor market so that we can give priority and preference to these opportunities. Are you following? There are many examples of the courses that are not in demand, but I will not mention any here because I don't want to be here in order to congratulate our graduates. And by citing an example, if I mention your course, then it will be a nightmare for you. So I am not here for that. But look at the labor market. If your course is not in demand, there are courses. Education is not just about employment. As long as you attend a university or polytechnic or college of education and you understand what you are taught there or what you are being taught, as the case may be, even without seeking for any employment, that education is supposed to make you to be a better person. Even after graduation, if you are going to your farm or you are going to your vocational center or you want to leave the country to go somewhere, or you want to partake in business, even traveling to Maiduguri or Chad or Cameroon to do business, as long as you are educated. Education is not just about employment, but rather about making you to be a better person, irrespective of what you want to do after your graduation. So education, either formal or informal, are essential and they are important and they make us better people wherever we go. However, today most of our younger ones, they only consider their certificate to be their meal ticket. And after their graduation, NYSC, if they fail to secure any job, they will remain jobless at home. And that is why you will discover some 5 years after graduation are still doing nothing. 10 years after graduation, they are still doing nothing. This mentality must be changed. The dynamic nature of our labor market is changing and we have to change. If I graduate as a graduate of history, for example, or social studies or religious studies, and I couldn't get any opportunity to get employed either in government or outside government, my hope should not be lost completely. You have to make an adjustment through reskilling. As a graduate, for example, of social studies, no job. Within a year, you can get registered in artificial intelligence certification being offered either by Microsoft or by any global tech giant. Within a year, you obtain a certificate. That certificate could give you a job anywhere in the world. So it is important to partake in reskilling. So by example, I'm not saying that you have to abandon your area of expertise, but rather you have to venture into new life by acquiring additional expertise or skills where at least that can be recognized. Take for example, in AI, as earlier mentioned, there are over 83 global openings. In cybersecurity, there are almost 4 million opportunities today. In blockchain technology, over 15 million opportunities. So by implication, reskilling is about, after my NYSC I couldn't get any job, okay, let me partake in some certifications that are in demand globally. And you will discover that some, after acquiring the certificate, within 1 week, you can get employed. And some even freelancing, where geographical location is no more a challenge. You can get employed by a company in the US while you live in Nigeria. And through freelancing, you can have up to 10 employers. Because your job doesn't depend on hours, but rather your ability to deliver. If you can deliver from 10 of them, they can all employ you. So reskilling is important for our younger ones. It is not always that what you study is what you practice. It is not always the same. Particularly now, most of our elders here, those who graduated in 60s and in 70s, even some in early 80s, some even before their graduation, employment was waiting for them. Even in their final year, employment opportunities were waiting for them, even before their graduation. But today the situation has changed completely, and unfortunately, a first-class graduate of computer science, a first-class graduate of electrical engineering, a first-class graduate of accounting is roaming about without any employment. It is unfortunate. But since the world is changing, we have to adopt and adapt changes as well. And this is indeed very important. Reskilling, you studied accounting without job. Then you move to become an expert in online marketing. Online marketing is not the same with accounting, but it's easier to switch and to become expert in online marketing. This is a good example. Some of our graduates, even using social media, they can become entrepreneurs. Particularly if you have good followership, 100,000 people on your Facebook or Twitter, 1 million people on your Facebook or on X or on Instagram or on TikTok. Sometimes you will discover that if you manage this number effectively, what you can get through it is even much higher than what your certificate can give you in the labor market. Sometimes you can complement the little you earn through your certificate through becoming an expert in other areas. I always give an example with a footballer who is very well known, Cristiano Ronaldo. When he was in Juventus, he was the highest paid footballer globally. But what he was earning through Instagram posting, being paid, was much higher than his salary and allowances combined from Juventus in Italy. Today, there are so many celebrities. What they generate annually through online is being counted in millions of dollars. So it is important to be very dynamic the way our global market is also dynamic. And there is also cross-skilling. Cross-skilling is to become master in many areas. You can go into digital marketing. You can go into artificial intelligence. You can become an expert in even digital agriculture, which is another very important area. Your state, when it comes to land area, is larger than the Netherlands as a country. Yobe State. There are 6 states in Nigeria. Each and every one of them is bigger than the Netherlands, Yobe State inclusive. The Netherlands, through digital agriculture or smart agriculture or hydroponics agriculture or precise agriculture, what they generate annually through agriculture is approximately around 128 billion USD. So meaning their earning in agriculture is more than twice what Nigeria generates through oil and gas. This is through agriculture. In 2018, what they generated through digital agriculture was more than 7 times what Nigeria generated through our darling oil and gas. And this is agriculture. And their population was either within the range of Lagos or Kano, because the population is around 18 to 19 million people. But look at what they generate. So as a farmer, it is part of your reskilling or upskilling or cross-skilling. You move into, for example, digital agriculture. Even backyard farming can complement your salary as a teacher, because I know our colleagues in academia are struggling on how to survive. Their take home cannot even take them outside of their offices. Today, even though there is an increase in the salary, we appreciate it, but still insignificant and insufficient. We do hope that our policy makers and also our legislators will look into the condition of our colleagues in academia. The challenges are many. There is no enabling environment for them to operate effectively, and it is indeed very important. And I believe that, and we do hope that soon we will see a positive change in our academia, and it is indeed very important. So that is why it is good to partake in upskilling or reskilling or cross-skilling, as the case may be. And going further to the next stage of our discussion as well, there are so many people who excel today globally, but if you look at what they studied in universities, it's not even the same with what they practice. Why? Because of the dynamic nature of our labor market or our workforce. The opportunities do not depend on your degree or your certificate alone. Some depend on that, but some depend on another requirement. So after graduation, I strongly encourage our youth to make sure that they understand the diversity and the dynamic nature of our world today, so that they can partake in upskilling or reskilling or cross-skilling to the extent that they can survive in any environment. And this is indeed very important. For example, we all know Bill Gates. Few years ago, he was the richest man in the world. And some of his activities are even here in Nigeria. Bill Gates was a dropout from university. He dropped out of Harvard University. He couldn't graduate. Not he didn't, but rather he couldn't graduate. In our situation, when our students become dropouts, some of them will become hopeless. But since he understood the dynamic of the world, he moved into software engineering, and he established Microsoft company. And look at the situation of Microsoft. So he becomes successful. Since he couldn't graduate, he failed academically, he looked into another area where he excelled by establishing Microsoft company. And there is no doubt Microsoft company, when it comes to their market value, they are among the top 5 leading companies globally. And this company was established by a dropout student from his university, Harvard. Mark Zuckerberg was enrolled into Harvard University as well. He voluntarily left the university, even though I encourage you to remain and complete your studies. Don't take that example and abandon your studies. I completed all my studies without abandoning. I encourage you to do that. I am only citing this as an example to give you that life exists outside you, the certificate you obtain. Mark Zuckerberg left the university, Harvard University. He established his social networking startup, then Facebook, which later metamorphosed into Meta today. So under Meta, he has Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. And we all make use of them today. He is among the richest people globally, yet without his completing his studies. The reason why he left the university not known, but at least he was successful. Oprah Winfrey has been very successful in the creative industry. She was in Tennessee State University, dropped out, and she switched and become an actress. Today, her net is over 10 million USD. So there is life. Even if this fails you, there are other opportunities. The same with Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple company. He was in Red College, dropped out, and he co-founded Apple company. Look at the brand of Apple that we are so much addicted. iPad, iPhone 14, and many more. But still, he was struggling in academia, but after academia, he became very successful. This is another example. And there are many examples. Abraham Lincoln, we all know his quotations. Abraham Lincoln, his formal education was very limited to the extent that combined, the time he spent learning formally was less than 2 years. But later on, look at his achievement in life. So it is important to understand the dynamic nature of this world. After your graduation, make sure that before completing your NYSC, you have a plan of what to do after your NYSC by only 1 week, so that you partake in something beneficial before another opportunity comes up. This is not an era of spending time at home after graduation, eating from the family food, begging your father for broadband internet without doing anything. We have to be very dynamic, that even if we are not employed, we will be able to be self-reliant and be successful in life. And this is indeed very important. So there are so many examples. Part of the most important skills that I want to advise our younger ones, including our colleagues in and outside academia, that I feel they are important in order to adopt the dynamic nature of the world. There are some important 13 skills and qualities, and I will only mention them briefly. Number 1 is communication. Number 2 is adaptability. Number 3 is problem solving. Number 4 is resilience. Number 5 is financial management. Number 6 is market and sell. Number 7 is leadership. Number 8 is time management. Number 9 is curiosity. Number 10 is creativity. Number 11 is passion. Number 14 is risk taking. And number 12 is risk taking. And number 13, which is the last one, establishing an excellent networking or building bridges in order to have a good relationship. These skills and qualities are important in order to be successful. And furthermore, part of the changes we need, we need to critically look into our curriculum. Also look into our laboratories. Look into our system of education and make sure that we transform it to the extent that our graduates can not only be potential employees, but rather they can become potential employers after their graduation. The dynamic nature of the world is to make sure that we change the mindset of our students to the extent that they are more passionate about becoming entrepreneurs and employers rather than becoming potential employees after their graduation. And it is important to do that. This life is nothing but division of labor. Some of us can represent us in academia, some in civil service, some can represent us in market, some can represent us in agriculture, some can represent us in the private sector, some can become entrepreneurs. It is important to realize that there is no single sector that can accommodate all, whether in academia or in government or in private sector. This life is nothing but division of labor. And we must make sure that we change the mindset of our students and graduates to the extent that they can adopt and adapt after their graduation, and they can display this resilience in difficult circumstances and be successful. And this is indeed very important. There are universities that have adopted this model of producing potential employers. Firstly, Massachusetts Institute of Technology in the United States of America and Indian Institute of Technology, where they have so many campuses all over India. Take for example MIT in the US, which I happen to be the champion of MIT between 2019 and 2021. If you look at the nature of the mindset of their students, they are more interested in becoming serial entrepreneurs after their graduation rather than becoming employees. To the extent that in 2016 there was a report entitled as the MIT Nation, meaning university like a country. That report has academically documented that the collective gross domestic product of the serial entrepreneurs of MIT in 2016 was more than the GDP of India as a country. That in that year, the serial entrepreneurs of MIT, their collective GDP was more than 2 trillion USD. By implication, more than 8 times the GDP of Nigeria as a country. And this is only one university because of the serial entrepreneurs they produce. The same with Indian Institute of Technology, that is IIT, which was established in early 60s. IIT, the way they set up the mindset of their students and the nature of their curricula, you will discover that each graduate of MIT is a potential employer of 100 people globally. Averagely, each graduate is an employer of 100 people. So it is important. I have been informed that I have only 3 minutes, and His Highness has informed us that he wants to clear the screen and depart. And Your Highness, the floor is yours and the decision is yours. I do hope that the lecture is going to be terminated in around 3 minutes. If His Highness is interested, then we can complete together. Otherwise, the decision is for Highness to make. Thank you very much. So these are some models that are important to our universities. All stakeholders must come together within the academic environment, in government, in the industry, including legislators. We must all come together and rescue our academic sinking ship. It is indeed very important. Academia is one of the most important environments globally, but if care is not taken, the survival of our academia is in danger. And if we can all come together and support academia by making sure we provide resources, those that are required, training and retraining of our academics, and the private sector and industry should come in and make sure that they provide the skills required by our students and our graduates. And I believe within no time we will be able to turn things around to the extent that we will produce more potential employers rather than potential employees. And this is indeed very important. We must think out of the box, provide solution to the problems that we encounter in order to rescue our higher institutions of learning, in fact including our secondary schools. And this is indeed very important. Because of the time constraint, permit me to clear the screen and shut down the lecture and retire. Thank you very much for listening.